All right, so let's learn all about our brand new apprenticeship option, how it works, and see if it'd be a good fit for you. So a real quick backstory, Array is located in downtown Cheyenne, Wyoming on the corner of Central Avenue and Lincoln Way, which is about 2 hours north of Denver. And about a year and a half ago, we acquired this awesome, amazing, over 100-year-old historic building, which we've been slowly transforming to becoming Wyoming's ground zero for technology and design education. Just recently, we were able to finally update the big sign. It's very colorful, so if you live in Cheyenne, it's pretty hard to miss Array at this moment. And to kind of give you a very brief backstory, Array was incorporated on April 19th, 2016, and we became Wyoming's first private dedicated technology and design school. So we're currently in our 5th cohort, and we've taken on some amazing students and taught them things from HTML to CSS to JavaScript in efforts to get them employment in the tech field in the state of Wyoming. And we've really enjoyed this process. We've also learned a lot about the curriculum that works here. We've met a lot of companies. We've partnered with state government agencies. It's just been a really, truly fascinating and very life-changing experience for all of us, and we believe our students as well. And about a year and a half ago, we've learned a lot in the last year and a half, and we wanted to continue to grow Array in unique and different ways that maybe had not been fully explored yet. And so that's kind of where we decided to begin exploring the future. And what did the future of education at Array look like? And what did the future of the tech sector in Wyoming look like? And could we think differently? And, obviously, when we announced this apprenticeship back in February, even with the whole COVID-19 situation that we've all gone through, it's really reinforced that now is the time for us to think differently about what that looks like. And so we kind of decided to come up with 5 goals, things that we wanted to add to Array as we decided what was next for us. And the first one was, how do we break down as many barriers of entry to be able to come and learn the skill set at Array? Up to this point, we've done anywhere from 4 to 7 month kind of like boot camp style trainings where, there's tuition, we have scholarships, we have student loan programs, we accept the GI Bill benefits, we partner with the Department of Workforce Services for potential assistance in tuition. But we really wanted to continue to make Array as accessible as possible to anyone who wanted to come and learn with us. And if we did that, we knew then that would help us continue to build on diversity. Diversity is really important, and when we look at our students that have gone through our program, it's actually been incredible to see the diversity range of age and ethnicity and sexual orientation and backgrounds and professional careers. Everyone's coming together in this one building to learn a new skill set in hopes of getting a new career opportunity in the tech sector in Wyoming. And speaking of that, with the tech sector in Wyoming, we wanted to create more jobs and opportunities. Wyoming's technology sector is still in its infancy stage, and we're still working on some exciting things. Wyoming is one of the first states, if not the first state, to require computer science in all K through 12 schools in the state. Wyoming is leading the way in blockchain, so Wyoming is really putting a lot of effort and money and time into building a great ecosystem that's going to support technology jobs. And we wanted to help that because we know for companies to either consider relocating to Wyoming or starting new companies or supporting companies that are already here, they need to be able to tap into a workforce that understands how to code and design computer science and so much more. So we wanted to keep that a main focus. We also love learning. Our staff and our students are passionate about learning, and we understand that learning is a lifelong project. It's not just going to school, going to college, and then you work. Like, you should constantly be learning, and especially in an industry like technology, that is vitally important because it changes so rapidly. And we love working on cool projects. We love partnering with different companies and organizations, whether it be websites or whatever. Working on cool things that really transform and enrich people's lives are really great ways for us also to get excited about our work and apply our skills, but also to support our communities and our state. And that kind of obviously transitions into, we want to continue our partnerships with nonprofits and for-profits and other schools and different organizations. We want to continue to partner with our community, and we want to definitely help in any way that we can support the state of Wyoming as its technology sector grows. And when we looked at all of those things, really one of our key missions at Array is how do we make technology work in rural America? Because technology in rural America, very different from an urbanized center like San Francisco or Denver or New York City. It's just a whole different, animal. And so we have to approach education and jobs and building that in a very unique, different way than we would do that in a larger city. So how did we make that happen? Well, when we started to think about things and some unique opportunities, we started to look at registered apprenticeships via the Department of Labor. And when you think about an apprenticeship, you think about great jobs and career paths like welding and electrical and plumbing. These people get great on-job training experience. They also get paid to do it. And then they get this mentorship piece to help them through and individualize their experience. And so we're like, well, I wonder if could we take technology and could we wrap it around a Department of Labor registered apprenticeship? So we started exploring that. We started partnering with the Department of Labor, because one of the things that we loved about it was, in traditional education, like you pay Array to come and learn something, right? And we still have those options, and we'll always, continue to have options for you to do that. But you pay a school, you get a student loan, you get some scholarships, you apply for FAFSA depending on whether you're applying for a public or private school. And the unique thing that we loved about the apprenticeship is instead of you paying the school to learn this, we actually pay you to come and learn technology. And we felt that really tied back into breaking down some of those barriers of entry and creating more diversity. So we were really excited that back on February 28th, that we became Wyoming's first computer programmer, full stack web engineer, a registered apprenticeship through the Department of Labor, which is, it was just a really amazing moment. And that was back on February 28th, 2020, obviously right before COVID hit and kind of disrupted the world. But now even after, as we start to rebuild and start to get back to work, it's more important than ever, I think, that we approach education very differently. So we are super excited to add this option. So let's talk about exactly how does it work. Well, one of the beautiful things about what we love is apprenticeships bring together education and private industry, right? So it is workforce and education coming back together to teach and train things that are relevant in our communities and our state. So we have these things that we call project partners. So these are companies and organizations. They might need something like a website or a mobile app, or both of them, or an augmented virtual reality, a tourism experience. Like these projects can vary in range and scope. And they come to Array and they say, hey, Array, we've got this project. We'd like to partner with you on it. Could you help us out? And we're interested maybe in this apprenticeship. And so what we do is we look at each of these projects and we try to distill them down. Would this be a great project that we could use as a teaching method to be able to bring on apprentices so that we can teach them? But then instead of just like teaching you HTML, CSS, or JavaScript, or object-oriented programming, all these like super techie terms, instead of doing like these little like projects like let's build a website for your cat, we could look at it and say, look, this is why we're teaching you what a for loop does and where you would use a for loop, because we have this project, see exactly how we can use a for loop to solve that problem. It brings together real world scenarios, right? So we evaluate these projects and then we go, cool. Based on the amount of projects that are coming into us, we might be able to open up 9 paid apprenticeships at Array to help us with these projects and then use these projects as our primary tool of education. So we evaluate that, we start working with our project partners, and then we decide on that number. So in this example, we're just gonna say 9, and then we begin our admissions process, which begins at arrayschool.com. As you probably would understand, these are highly competitive positions because you don't pay anything to come and learn, and then eventually you start getting paid. So we expect a lot lot of people to be very interested in these. And so we'll kind of outline the admissions process on our website as far as what that looks like. And we'll select, 9 new apprentices to begin with us at Array. And then we start partnering with the Department of Labor to kind of get them through the system and into the system so that we can begin. So here's how it works. Now, there's a couple of different entry points into our apprenticeships. So if you apply for apprenticeship, it is a 1-year-long competency-based apprenticeship. If you have no or very little skills in computer programming, web engineering, or graphic design, the first 4 months of the apprenticeship is what's called the related training instruction. This is where you are in our classroom for 4 months and you're just focusing on learning computer science fundamentals and everything that you're going to need to know to be able to start working on projects with supervision. So we have a dedicated professor that you will be with. And for those of you who are green and have never done this before but are excited and have always wanted to get into technology and learn, we move you into the first 4 months. During this 4 months, you are not paid, but you do not have any tuition either. And so you guys are going through training. If you already have experience, if you already have, and you can demonstrate to us through a project, you can kind of in a way test out of the RTI or the related training instruction piece. But if you, through building a project for us, and then we have our senior staff. So that would be me, for example. We have our chief technology officer, our chief creative officer. And so we have the senior staff at Array who we have been working in the tech industry for quite a while, and we are there working on cool project partners. And then the next phase is 8 months of our paid apprenticeship. So what happens here is after you complete your 4 months of training, we move everyone over to the next 8 months. And this is where we begin to pay you and work on these projects and then continue to mentor and advise you. So each of our apprentices will get assigned to one of our senior staff members based on the projects and the skills necessary. So you'll have a dedicated, kind of like a master in a way, that will continue to work with you, coach you, mentor you as we work through projects. And then during this time, what happens is we start you off at $15 an hour, which here in Wyoming is over double the minimum wage. So you start making $15 an hour for the hours that you're working on our projects during your paid apprenticeship. This is a competency-based apprenticeship. So as you continue to learn new skills for that 8 months of paid apprenticeship, we will have a wage progression schedule. So once you check off a couple boxes and we're able to successfully demonstrate that you're able to do it, we'll bump you up to $16.07 an hour. And then we have some more competencies as you continue to learn and grow and work on projects, and we'll end you at $17.07 an hour. So really the exciting things about this are, the goal being that we either do one of two things, or actually 3 things. We either at the end of your paid apprenticeship will help you find a full-time job in the technology field, or that we have so many projects that we want you to stay on at Array, or even better, that we send you off back to these project partners that might be looking for you to be a full-time employee with them to continue maintaining their projects. So we really think that you could either stay at Array, you could go to one of our project partners, or we're going to help you find a new career in the tech field. And really what's exciting about that is it's win-win, right? So these project partners are these companies that partner with us. When they have a project for us to work on, they get 3 things. They get senior oversight from the Array senior staff and making sure that the quality of the project is to our standards, right? When they partner with us, it's kind of like social entrepreneurship, where when they partner with us, it creates jobs and it creates an apprentice and a new person to help Wyoming and these companies fill their tech talent needs. And then lastly, they get their deliverables, the project, their website, their mobile app, their AR, VR experience. So they get senior oversight. They have this potentially apprentices that they could tap into and hire and create new opportunities for Wyomingites. And they also get their projects completed. Obviously, for folks like you, there is, if you get accepted to the apprenticeship, there is no tuition. to come learn here. And then on month 5, we start paying you $15 an hour for every hour that you work on our Project Partners project. And it's not just a classroom setting. It is you are learning, but then you're taking what you learned and you're applying it to real world projects so that you can really connect those dots on how this all works. And obviously at the end of the day, this benefits Wyoming as we continue to move out of an infancy stage of our tech economy. And this is how we're going to grow our own, right? Which is what rural America, I think, needs to be able to do. So we felt that by adding this apprenticeship opportunity and option, that we were able to achieve these 5 things: break down barriers of entry, build diversity, create more jobs and opportunities. We'll be able to continue to learn and work on cool projects and continue to grow partnerships with our community and our state. So we just couldn't think of really a very few negative things about Win-Win, other than the fact that I wish we could take on 100 apprentices if we could, which is not impossible if we have enough project partners that partner with us to create these opportunities for you. So let's talk about the next window of opportunity to apply for these apprenticeships. So we're super excited that we will, despite the setback of COVID-19, we have 2 start dates. We have apprenticeships beginning in August and September of this year. You can begin that application at arrayschool.com, which I'll talk about a little bit later. And just so, why are there 2? As I was mentioning in the first half, if you already have experience in full stack engineering, computer science, you can test out of that 4-month RTI period and just jump into the paid apprenticeship model if you already have that skill set. And so if you do, we may have 1 or 2 openings for already experienced folks to join our apprenticeship in August. And then in September, we're going to be taking on folks who are brand new to the tech industry and put them through that 4-month kind of boot camp and then begin their paid apprenticeship in January of 2021. And so if you would like to be considered for an either August or September start date, we do need you to put in a formal application on our website by Sunday, June 28th, because we will begin the selection process and notifying people of what the next steps are going to look like on June 29th. And so with that being said, it all begins at arrayschool.com. There's an apply button. It takes about maybe 20 or 30 minutes to complete. You will need to have your resume at the end to upload, so if you, which you can submit to us in a Word format or a PDF. But really, we're just excited to begin this new approach to apprenticeships in the state of Wyoming this fall and late this summer. And so if you're interested, we look forward to reviewing your application, and also be reminded that we're trying to keep it into maybe 2 start dates a year. So we'll have a fall and a spring, but that all depends on our project partners. So even if after this, if you're watching this video beyond June 28th, you can still apply because you'll be added to our newsletter. And as soon as we know that we have a start date coming up, we'll let everyone know so that we can begin that process. But we're looking at February through April of 2021 is the next opportunity to join us at Array. So just apply. It's an open application, and we'll keep you informed about when our next set of apprentices and how many we're looking for as this all goes on. So we're excited to bring this to Wyoming for the first time, and we're even more excited to work with our project partners and you guys here at Array to really build the future of Wyoming's tech economy together.